In this video, I'm going to cover the process that the Custom AI Chatbot goes through to answer prompts. The first step is the prompt entered by the user is embedded using the pinecone model of your choice. The next step is that embedded vector is then matched with the vector database, custom vector database you've built in Pinecone, and Pinecone returns the matching records with a score, quality score for the match. Then the plugin assesses that data quality based on a minimum level of quality, match quality that you set in the plugin. If it's low quality, then a standard prompt that you define is returned saying that you cannot answer the question. Now, the low quality scores could be due to a question unrelated to the topic of your database, or you simply don't have the relevant data in your database. If it has a high quality score, the data returned by your custom Pinecone database is then submitted to OpenAI with a standard prompt that you define in the block settings. OpenAI then returns a response based on all the records you've given it in normal language. And that's the end of the process. Next, let's look at the actual process in action in the plugin. So here is a web page I've built focused on my custom project management tool chatbot, which answers questions about project management tools. I took many blog reviews that I had done, imported them into a Pinecone RAG model, and that's what's driving this chatbot. So here's the actual plugin. Here are all the plugin settings, which we're going to talk about here in a second. So I'm going to publish this, preview it. And the first step in our process is that we embed the user prompt. So I put in a prompt. Does Jira have a Kanban board? When I hit send, the plugin is going to use the Pinecone embedding model of my choice to embed that question. And we're going to get a response here. So I set in the embedding settings which embedding model I wanted used. So it's taking that question, turning it into a vector. The next step in the process is it then submits that embedded vector to my custom RAG model database in Pinecone. And Pinecone returns the matches it finds with scores. So if I go into the console, console logs were built so we can actually see the prompt submitted and the returned records from the custom database. And there it is with the score of 0.895 is the highest. Then we go down 0.893, etc., etc. And you set that score threshold yourself. And in playing with my model and my page, I found that 0.87 ensured that I got high quality matches. So the plugin is assessing the value scores, and it's only passing through the records that meet that score. So let's look at that a little bit more, because the next step in the process, it assesses the score, and if it's a low score, if none of the matches returned, and you can set the number of matches you want returned, are of high quality, then we have a different step. We don't want to answer the question. So I need a recipe for eggnog, and we don't want to answer the question because we're paying OpenAI for each query we submit. And we don't want users to, on our dime, to be just using OpenAI. So it comes back with a standard response. I'm sorry, I don't have any specific information on that topic, and I don't want to speculate. So if we go back and look at the console, there's the question. Here are some records were returned, but they're returned with low scores, 0.81, 0.81, etc., which is below my threshold. So now I don't send those records on to OpenAI. And you can set the default low quality match response here, whatever you want. And then again, you're also setting what the score threshold would be. Now, if it's a high quality response, like we had in the first query, it's submitted to OpenAI, and you get the response returned in normal language. So OpenAI took all 5 of these records, along with a standard system prompt that I submit, that you define. So if we go into OpenAI settings, here is the standard systems prompt. So it's going to submit a prompt to OpenAI saying, you are an expert serving as a helpful AI representative. Your primary role is to answer user questions strictly and exclusively using the information provided in the given context chunks. And then appended to that are those 5 matching records. So OpenAI will only answer the question based on the data you provide. And here's where the number of chunks that you are to return from Pinecone and submit to OpenAI are defined, as well as in the console here you can see the actual records that were submitted to OpenAI. And that's how the process works. Hopefully that was helpful. Reach out to me if you have any questions.